this horse is very good.
I played the 10 on the box, 5, 11, 14, but that was 14.
Are we here? Okay.
That was great. I played 10 all in the Derby. Do the 10 or the 14. And then the Oaks go to the Derby. Yeah, that dude right there.
Got maybe Brad Cox. Yes. Well, let's put Flo on the end so he can answer his questions and get out back into the room. No, he just you know, he's gotta go. Flo, we have water.
Okay, you sit here.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Derek. Then owner, and the trainer at the end.
Let's go jockey, trainer,
Where you want me?
owner.
This one here?
Sit right there. Yes, sir.
Keep you close to the rail, son, is what we're doing. So. You broke from the outside. We're keeping the inside for the.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Well, just so you know, we've got the replay running up here on this.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay. What do you?
I think I know the outcome.
Brad.
Hey, congratulations. Yeah. Awesome. Sit right next to Flo. And then I need help. Brad Weisborg is. You can help which owners are coming up to speak. Brad Weisborg is helping us with it.
Okay.
I don't know who's talking.
It's Saul.
I would say Saul's the majority.
Saul.
Yeah.
So we definitely have Saul up here.
Yes.
Call him.
And I.
Who is it?
Median. Nice.
Amazing. What's wrong with this thing? 126 days. Oh, goodness.
It's gonna take you 3 days to.
Yeah, respond to that.
Darren, you'll get him up there.
Damn, buddy.
Okay.
Crazy.
Brad, you should go on the
She
river.
doesn't ever like make you feel like she's gonna win easy.
You know what she's a I mean,
The simplest was just go ahead and wait.
but you know what? Look how easy she goes by horses. I mean, like it's a joke. You almost went too slow. Far out, you know?
I think it's a perfect trip. Very much here.
I mean, we were too wide. And Gary sneaked him on the inside.
No clue where the other families finished. No clue.
Look how easy she traveled.
I got it.
Oh, what's up, boys? What's up? We're gonna be all serious here? We're gonna have some fun. Fun out!
Yeah, Sid, I left this for you.
Where's the other one?
Yep, one more. Where's Carrie? Who else is coming up? Yeah, get Carrie. Is he there? Oh. We're gonna put it.
I don't know. Are we good?
There's one more coming.
No, we have one more coming.
Yeah, who do we got?
See, are you even here? If you already were. Yeah, what, one time? 2 times?
Yeah, we'll put him down.
2.
Well, I'm going to move you down. Can you
Jim.
shift just a little bit?
Get up and grab that too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good. That way we can get one more connection.
What's up, boys? What's up? I'm gonna cry like a baby. At some point when I absorb this,
Yeah, it's not even hit you yet. It's not even
Do you
hit.
agree? Do you agree? Thank you. I mean, I keep wanting to
It took me like
cry.
2 hours.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Very much.
Can I get you guys anything to drink other than
This is
water?
all I need.
Vodka on the rock. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm talking.
Yeah, I won't drink during the press conference, but as soon as it's over, you can send me a bottle of Tito's. Tito's rocks.
Tito's on the rock?
And it's a lemon.
And a bourbon.
And a bourbon?
You got it.
Thank you.
You go right to the booze. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't drink all day. I was waiting.
14 hole. You weren't worried.
Are we about ready to go, ladies and gentlemen? I think we had a first in Churchill Downs Communications history as Darren Rogers was taking drink orders for this group just beforehand, but not before the press conference is over. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the press conference following the 144th running of the Longines Kentucky Oaks and the winner of the Kentucky Oaks, Monomoy Girl. We have with us, I'm going to start down here on the rail with the jockey who was on the outside, you'll remember, in the Kentucky Oaks himself, Florent Geroux, who's had a pretty big year. In the past few months, he's won a Breeders' Cup Classic and and also won the Pegasus with Gunrunner. Now he wins his first Kentucky Oaks with Monomoy Girl. Right next to Florent is Brad Cox, who has not come as far as Florent, who's of course is a native of France. Brad grew up 2 blocks from Churchill Downs, and now wins the biggest race of his life at this point, winning with a Monomoy Girl. We've got a group of owners here, and I'm gonna introduce one and let him introduce everybody else, so I don't mess it up, ladies and gentlemen. But we're gonna introduce first Michael Dubb. Michael Dubb. And partners, Mr. Dubb, I'm going to let you do the honors. And
the one and only incomparable revolutionary Falcon. And the one and only stayer, the best guy I know, Stu Grant, and Jim Carrey, who is part of Monomoy and just a great guy.
All right, all right.
So, and I think they misunderstood me. He did say, "Can I get you a drink?"
Yes.
But I meant a bottle. He's bringing me a drink.
Oh, okay.
I thought you heard bourbon.
Just know that our department aims to please. That's what we're looking for. Mr. Dubb, let's start with you and your thoughts with winning this race. It's obviously a big race on a big weekend and a race with great history, 144 years, and wasn't easy coming down the home stretch, but Monomoy Girl gets there, and it's where does this rank as a win for you, and how special is this for you and your partners?
It's incredible. Stu and I have had together the 2 favorites in the Kentucky Oaks previously, Grace Hall and Condo Commando.
Could I get you to pull the microphone to you just a little more closely?
Yeah.
Oh, right there.
So
Great,
we had two other horses in the Kentucky Oaks. They were both favorites. They both got beat. Today I was really confident. There was no nerves. Stu commented no nerves. I knew we had one of the greatest, if not at the moment the greatest Kentucky trainer in Brad Cox. We had a great Kentucky rider. The horse was here. The horse had the race over the track. You know, it's interesting. Everybody is saying, oh, you got the 14 post, you got the 14 post. But they're discounting the experience of the team here and understanding the track, knowing the track. And this was the time that I was really confident. So, and the way the horse dug in and fought back, you know, I've got to thank everybody. Liz Crow, who picked out the horse, Brad Weisbord, who manages the operation. Just everybody involved in the horse. Obviously, Brad Cox, Florent, my great partners. I'm just blessed.
Any other partners want to offer a thought before we turn to the trainer and the jockey?
Saul probably has something to say now.
Yeah, Saul, jump in. Jump in there.
I haven't had much vodka yet, so I'm pretty well behaved. I just want to congratulate these guys. Obviously, you know, Mike did a tremendous job representing all of us. You know, this horse, Brad Cox's first Grade 1 win in the Ashland, and obviously come back, you know, 4 weeks later and winning this race. The guy's, you know, just now stepping onto the big stage. He's becoming one of the top trainers in the country. You know, getting to watch him manage this horse, care for this horse, and just seeing his development has just been an unbelievable thing, and we're super blessed to be a part of it. And you know, behind every horse, there's always a story, and Mike touched on some of it. We've got a great group of partners here, and kind of both sides of this horse. We've got, you know, Liz Crow buying. This is one of the first tickets she ever signed. You know, buying a Grade 1 winner and an Oaks winner, and that's you know, that's her hard work and determination. Mike touched on Brad Weisbord, that's done, you know, so much for all of us in terms of helping us pick out horses and manage our stable. And we've got an incredibly close relationship with Florent personally, and obviously we've won a lot of races with him. So you know, we couldn't be happier. I think, you know, we've been nervous and excited and confident, but also nervous and excited, and I'm just really happy for everybody here, and just super proud to be a part of this.
So your name shows up as an owner with a lot of nice horses and a lot of nice races. How's this one for you?
This feels about as good as it gets right here. Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple other partners that are back here. You know, the 4 of us. You know, Liz, Brad. I mean, this is it, man. It doesn't get better, right? I mean, this is Kentucky. You know, Oaks Day, the biggest race. Winning it with all your friends, with a trainer you love, with a jockey you love. You know, with a person picking out the horse that you love. I mean, this is about as good as it gets.
By the way, the crowd for the Oaks today was 113,510, 5th largest crowd in the history of the Kentucky Oaks, and a wonderful day and a terrific result. And let's go to the jockey first, Florent Geroux. Again, Florent, you've had a wonderful couple of years. A lot of great things happened to you, and now you've had great success here. But and this one, you now win the Kentucky Oaks. What does this race mean to you? What does this effort by Monomoy Girl mean to you?
Well, first of all, it's a Kentucky Classic. It's definitely a race. You want to put on your resume. As a jockey or trainer or owner. Those are like you have only one chance at it. It's not like you can come back and say, oh, maybe next year I have a better luck. This is it. That's the only chance. But like Saul says, it doesn't get any better. Saul is a great friend of mine, same as Brad. Michael, and the rest of the group. Also very good friend. We make a very good combo there, and I couldn't be any happier. It's just a dream come true. I've been very lucky and fortunate to win some of the biggest races in the world, but this one feel extra special. One is with your friend, and I can't really describe it.
Yeah. She's only lost once. Oddly enough, it came here, but she ran a huge race last time out in the National. But then you do the 14 hole in this race. How big, if that was a concern, how big a concern was it?
Yeah, she lost only once. I kind of took the blame. I kind of hit her, a few times, and she started going, all over the place. So that's why we kind of learn our lesson, from her, and especially me, and that's not a filly who is a very big fan, of the stick, but today I was getting a little close, and the other horse almost went by me, so I had to give her a few taps. I probably hit her maybe twice, but. She's just incredible. She just keep on running, and at the end, it's not like she's getting tired. She just lose focus. She can see every little detail, there is on the track. I don't know. I don't even know what she's looking at. She can see everything, and from there, I just try to keep her right, as hard as I can, and try to make sure I keep her straight. That's kind of my job. And it's just a great feeling. Like I said, Brad, it's. Yeah. Definitely one of the great friends, and Soul C, and awesome.
Pretty sure Brad Cox didn't lose focus coming down the home stretch watching all that was happening. And again, Brad, congratulations. And
2-1, you can make him cry.
No, it was unbelievable. Just watching the replay here, I did see her kind of start looking around at the 5/16 pole and did get a little concerned, especially when her Godot was coming on the outside of her, and then Florent. We know she's a filly that. She doesn't really like to be ridden aggressively, I guess is the term. But Florent really obviously had to get aggressive with her today, and she responded. So huge effort, means a lot. Obviously this is the biggest victory in my career, and it means a lot to do it with these guys. We've won a lot of races with Florent, and as far as Saul goes, it means a lot. The simple fact, over the last year or so, we've been close in 2 Grade 1s, and to win my first Grade 1 with him at Keeneland was a huge accomplishment. And Liz Crow and Paul Sharp and Brad Weisbord, obviously they gave this. We've had this filly since last spring, and they bought her as a yearling, and put all the work into her, breaking her and getting her to us last spring, and she hasn't let us down. She's a unbelievable filly that's. She's unbelievably talented filly. I'm very proud of her, and I didn't lose any confidence with her when we drew the 14. To be honest with you, I know a lot of people did, but I lost no confidence with her. And the bottom line is we needed racing luck. We got it. We didn't have any obstacles in front of us today. She got a good clear trip, and I'm very proud of her.
Because I know this question is going to be asked. Again, I mentioned you grew up 2 blocks from Churchill Downs. I want you to tell them exactly where you grew up and when you first started dreaming about this moment, or a moment like
903
this.
Evelyn Avenue. I was probably 12, 13 years old when I decided I want to start training horses, and I've always been the type of person that if I'm going to do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability and go to the top. And this is how you get to the top, or winning races like this. So this is a huge accomplishment for us in our barn and our stable, and I'm very proud and feel very fortunate to be connected with these connections from Monomoy Stable, Mr. Dubb, and Stuart Grant, and the Bethlehem Stable, and Florent, and BSW Bloodstock, Liz Crow, and everyone.
Before I open up the questions here, just one more for Mr. Dubb. And how did the partnership end up with Brad Cox here in Kentucky as your trainer?
So Liz picks out some yearlings, and we have somebody else who picks out some yearlings. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Sal makes the decisions on about 50% of them. I make the decisions on 50% of them. Obviously, he makes better decisions than me. So he made the decision to move it to Brad. I think he really had recognized the up-and-coming talent, the tremendous talent that Brad has, the great demeanor that Brad has, and he recognized it. And, you know, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And we did that. And, you know, this was Sal's decision to send this horse to Brad.
And if I could add something to that, because what's interesting is you might see if you go back and look sort of where the horse started. This wasn't one that was picked out and like, wow, you know, this is the one. She's shooting the lights out. This was a filly that really had to be developed, and Brad did an outstanding job of developing the filly, being able to place her in the right place, making her advance each time, but not putting her over her head. And this, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into that overnight success, and he really did a tremendous job, and it was a great call by Saul and Mike, but Brad really really developed this horse. This horse wasn't there when we got it.
So really what Brad did is a classic job of managing owners' expectations. We broke our maiden at Indiana. So.
We had two fillies break their maidens at Indiana, a mile on the turf that were in this race today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, any questions from the audience? We have a couple of folks with microphones here, so if you'd hold up, and we're going to go to Tim Sullivan first. But if you could, again, introduce yourself before you ask the question, and then go right ahead. Tim?
Tim Sullivan, Courier-Journal. For Brad, 903, what was the street?
Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Yes, sir.
And what was it about racing at 12 or 13 that appealed to you so much? And why did you get into it?
Well, my father brought me over to very earlier, I don't know, 5, 6 years old, and I really really liked it. I really enjoyed it and wanted to, you know, I guess when I was 11, 12, 13, I wanted to have you know, make a career out of it somehow, some way. Didn't obviously know exactly what I wanted to do, but you know, a few years later, I decided I wanted to train horses. So far, so good. Keep it rolling.
Where else? Right here.
Brad, I couldn't be happier for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Chuck Harper with HorseRacingNation.com. It looked like with the outside post, the race looked like a replay of the Rachel Alexandra. Was that kind of the plan going in, or?
Yeah. Well, no. We kind of broke slow in the Rachel. It really wasn't. We probably overcome more in the Rachel than we did today. You know, she was able to break and get in position. Florent did a good job of getting her out of the gate and hustling her a little bit. And, you know, being caught 3 wide in the first turn in a 14-horse field, that's not bad. And, you know, as far as, you know, good horses have to overcome things, and she was able to overcome the wide trip around the first turn and, you know, 2 or 3 being 2 wide going into the second turn.
Yeah. Did she pull you to the lead on the turn, or was that something you were urging her?
No, that was her, and the horse in front, you know, number 9 was trying to get tired, and she just took over from there. And as you can see here, my hands are pretty full, you know, so I'm just trying to make sure, you know, I keep clear something, you know, for the end.
Over here.
Danny Brewer, Rutherford Reader. Brad, everybody learned a little something about this horse today. Did you learn anything? I mean, the way she dug in the stretch, or did you know she was this good?
Oh no, I knew I really believe she was this good. She had to fight today. She had to fight. She did get in a fight here in the fall, and didn't work out as well against Road to Midway. But we found out that, you know, she knows how to dig back in and get her head in front. And it was she really had to fight today. So no, we figured out we learned more about her today.
Where now? Right in front here.
Jim Coyle, WXBW. From both the owners, or trainers, and the jockey standpoint, she ran a marvelous race and was in control. Once she settled in, was in control for most of it, but toward the end, gave up the lead for just a little bit. From your standpoint, where you were looking at it as an owner, or a trainer, and from the jockey standpoint, at that time she gave up that lead. What was that like for both of you guys, and how you saw that?
For me, when she started making the lead, and especially at the collar pole, when her ears, you know, start flopping back and forth. I can see, she's starting to looking around too much. I was just hoping somebody was coming to me, but not that close, I was just hoping somebody, come like maybe on the flank and just pushed her, along, and from there just hold on. But the other filly, came very close to me, but like you can see at the end, she kind of drew away from her. We were very in a dog fight, but at the end she proved she was the best, and she galloped out in front of her, very easily. So I think it's more a lack of focus for her than really her getting tired, or I think she got distracted very easily.
Yeah, I would agree with him 100%. She is a filly that does, at the 5/16 spot, I saw him have to kind of start nudging on her a little bit, and I was like, she's wanting to kind of wait for other horses to come to her. I think she's a filly that likes to be near other horses. She doesn't like to run away from them, and that's just, horse's natural herd instinct. But she is, like I said earlier, she had to fight today to win, and I was concerned. Anytime you're in a horse race and get passed down the lane, there's cause for concern. But she responded to Florent being aggressive with her, and that is the one thing that we had talked about. What point do you have to get or when you hope she's good enough to where she can just win like she did in the Ashland, where we don't have to. He doesn't have to hit her behind the saddle, but obviously today he did, and she responded well. So we're still learning about her, and yes, I was concerned.
Second row from the back here on the right over here.
This is for Saul and Michael. Can you guys talk about working with Liz Crow, how you started together, and what she really brings to the operation?
Sure. So I met Liz when she used to work with Pete Bradley. I started owning horses early with Chad Brown. Chad used Pete a great deal, and I probably had 10 horses with Pete through the years. Liz worked with Pete for a while, and I got to know her then. She left Pete to go on her own, and then partnered up with Brad Weisbord, who I had just started working with, and worked out perfectly. So it was an opportunity to let her take the lead and see what she could do. I knew she was talented, obviously ethical, hardworking, all the stuff that you'd like to see, but she hadn't fully done it on her own. And obviously this just gives you a look at what she can do when she gets a chance. She's done a terrific job, and just extremely proud of her.
Okay, back row on the right, and please identify yourself before you ask the question, please. Back here.
All right, Dan Torgman, America's Best Racing. This is for Florent. And again, maybe this is just laziness from the American racing observer or the writer, but you've been sort of pigeonholed as this turf specialist, and do you derive any added satisfaction when you look at what you've done over the past couple of years, specifically adding this one now to your mantle? The biggest dirt races in the country. And also, what is Phantom Fireworks?
I'm still learning about it too. Look like it's a company of fireworks, who are sponsoring me for today the Oaks, and also for tomorrow for the Kentucky Derby. And they asked me for a sponsor, so I just say yes. And
why don't you tell them what really happened? Then Florent calls me and says, "Hey, is it okay if we do the sponsorship?" Sure. Next thing I got to call, I need a fax, sign something, fax it with every partner in 30 minutes, and we're in a hotel here.
Yeah, so I know he was willing to sign it quick for me, so I was not worried. But no, like you said, I win a bunch of big races, on the turf, Breeders' Cup races, 10 million. But I guess I'm all right on the dirt, I got some of the biggest, racing, in the country, the Classic and the Pegasus World Cup. So I guess now give me a little more credibility, and thank God to Gunrunner. He was here and kind of show everyone, it's more like people need to have faith on you, especially when you are in this kind of level. You want a guy with the experience, but you doesn't want a guy who's too old and beat up too. You kind of want something in the middle, and I feel like I'm in that group right now. So hopefully I have 10 more years to beat the other guys.
Front row here.
Brad, we've talked about the what it's taken to get to this point in the past. When you did get it, and you were in the winner's circle, and you had handshakes to do and thanks to give, and what was going through your mind at that point?
It's a tremendous accomplishment. Proud of the filly, proud of the team we've put together. I'm happy for the people around me. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, I just want to make people proud of what we do and you know, provide for these clients and these owners. They've done a, you know, give us an opportunity with a great feeling. We don't, you know, obviously we don't want to let them down, but honestly, you know, we'll see what happens moving forward. Probably look, I'm already thinking about the next race, so and you know, we'll see. We'll see. It's been an unbelievable ride with this filly since last November. Put a plan in place. We made this our third race off the layoff, and everything's just, I mean, went extremely well. So I'm real happy with what she's accomplished, and it's an amazing race to win.
Do you know where you're taking it?
We'll talk it over with these guys, but I would love to, you know, look at the Acorn. It's a mile. We'll talk about it, but that's definitely something we talked about last fall. And you know, these guys are East Coast guys, and I like Belmont, and it's a prestigious race, and I think it'd mean a lot to win that. And it'd help. Obviously, right now the goal is to accomplish enough with her to make her a champion 3-year-old. That's our goal, and maybe try to get back here to the Breeders' Cup in the fall.
No one's asked yet about the bumping in the home stretch. You had there was a claim of foul in the race from Johnny Velasquez on the runner-up, Wonder Godot. What were your, from your standpoint, what was happening? Both of you and Brad both, and owners if you wish. But what were you thinking?
I know we touched, you know, but we are very close to each other, and I hit my filly on it twice, and I slightly came out, you know. And if there was a nose, maybe they would have taken a look at it, you know, a little bit longer. But since my filly kind of drew away, you know, I think that was pretty clear, you know, to the stewards, you know. And I felt like, you know, it's not like I hit her, you know, 10 times and she kept coming out, and that was completely my fault, you know. I hit her maybe once or twice and she slightly came out, but since Johnny was very close to me, we never went, you know, out of control. So I was very confident. I was not shaking like, all right, let's pray, we're just gonna hopefully they left our number up, you know. I was pretty confident. I talked to Brad, you know, right away, and I was hoping the stewards were making the right decision.
Brad, how confident were you?
Well, you know, watching the race, I actually saw a little bump, but I didn't really think it was much. And then when I went out there, I was out there, and I never heard anything. And then as soon as I saw the objection, I thought, yep, I saw that when I was watching it in real time. So when I did see the objection, I was glad I didn't see an inquiry. So, so you know, that's not as, it's better when it's just an objection, I feel like. But it was. I was pretty confident after watching the head-on that they wouldn't really do anything. But it looked like they brushed, and it wasn't. I thought that filly was kind of coming in a little bit on us as we were coming out on her maybe a little bit. So I don't know if they bumped. I would call it more of a brush, but Rubbin's racing.
Any other questions from the crowd? Could you talk just a little bit in terms of the partnership, how this partnership came together and grew, and have all you gentlemen at the table here?
Sure. So Mike and I have been partners for probably 3-4 years now, in a lot of stuff, and Mike and Stu have been partners for a long, long time, as Mike touched on before. So, you know, when we went to the yearling sale, I guess this was probably a year and a half ago or so now, you know, as Mike mentioned, we sort of had a few different people buying for us, and I kind of managed one group and Mike managed the other, and I put a group together, a couple friends of ours in Monomoy, and Mike did the same thing with Stu, and that was the other side. So we've owned a lot of horses together over the last bunch of years and had some good success and built a great friendship.
Yeah, you know, there's the word karma.
You can pull the mic up.
And
pull the mic up.
Yeah, the word karma, and you know, from the time that I met Sal at Saratoga, was introduced to him, really he had just gotten in the game, but he had a certain way about him, a great demeanor, easygoing. Believe it or not much ego, which is really important in the horse business. And we kind of just have gelled, and as partners, we've never had a disagreement. All we've had is fun. And, you know, I've enjoyed watching Sal's ascendancy in the game and gotten great pleasure out of it. And I think Sal the same way, because I claim horses, I play the game at all. He loves that and he encourages it, and we play off each other. And Stu and I have been together north of 10 years. We also met at the track, and it's just chemistry. We all we all gel, and you know, Stu has some farms. He's been a trooper all these years, and we're all good and we're all easy. And Jim down at the end, right, came with Sal, and I mean, everybody's happy with everybody. So that's it. Anything to add?
Yeah, and, you know, the other nice thing is for all of us, it's a family sport. And so it's really nice to have the family. You know, I know we all have our kids here and our spouses here, and it's, you know, they all like to share in it. And so it makes it a lot of fun, not only to have great partners, but to have partners whose families are into it also. So that made it, you know, that much more sweet.
Yeah, I just have one other comment. I've known Brad Weissport since he was a 12-year-old brat. And of course now he's a 30-something-year-old
Still a
brat.
brat, right?
But I've known him, so when Brad, you know, became managing Sal's operation, it was like all in the family. You know, we were all connected, but I really have known Brad that long. And my children are friends with his children. In fact, they're both sitting by each other. So it's all good and it's all family and a lot of warmth. So.
Speaking of family, Mr. Delpin, I know you've been involved with a lot of things giving back to the industry, the Belmont child care and things of that nature. Could you talk a little bit about that and your activities there? And
yeah, I mean, I was introduced to the backstretch of Belmont by Jerry Bailey about 20 years ago, and they needed a daycare center. And I'm a builder, and I offered to build it and donate it. And that was my introduction to racing. I started meeting trainers. But I think everybody in this group is very charitable and gracious, and I know in a big way, we do not take the people who toil on the backside for granted, and I always want to be out there fighting for them. Now, in all fairness, my greatest win on the racetrack is still the daycare center at Belmont, because that's changed hundreds of lives, but that's just me.
Second.
Flo, I know you're making plans on something here, but you know, if you've had a good weekend, it could get better. You're riding tomorrow in the Kentucky Derby aboard Noble Indy. Your thoughts on that and what lies ahead tomorrow?
Well, I can't wait for it. You know, that's the biggest race pretty much of the year. You know, not the richest. You know, I already got it, but I'm looking for the prestige now, and the Derby is definitely very high on my list. You know, that's the race every jockey dream and would love to ride. You know, I came close to it. You know, finishing third with Gunrunner, you know, 2 years ago, but. Nobody is a little bit different. The horse, you know, I've never ridden before. You know, I only breathed him one time, but it's a horse, you know, who's coming in good shape, and the horse won one of the major prep, you know, the Louisiana Derby. It doesn't win by much, you know, but there is not much, you know, to knock against him. You know, it's a little bit on numbers. He looks a little bit, you know, slower than some other horses, but if every favorite, you know, won every year, well, we run them, you know. So no, I can't wait for it, and. I got a little funny story about that filly, you know, Monomoy Girl. Outside of your question, we were racing, you know, actually at Auckland, you know, for the robot. I was riding the Azeri for Brad, and we were looking at the forecast, you know, in New Orleans. You know, there was quite a lot of rain, and we have only one gap, you know, to Walker, and there was the major breeze right before the Rachel Alexandra, and we couldn't fly there. I mean, there was no flight, there was nothing we can do, and. We end up driving, you know, 7 straight hours, you know, at 7 o'clock at night, and we get in New Orleans, you know, we left Hot Spring at 7 o'clock, and we got at New Orleans maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the three of us, you know, driving and as fast as we can, you know, to get there, and the filly breeze, you know, first thing in the morning, and we probably took a nap, and just show you know how dedicated, you know, we were, you know, just for this filly, you know, make a lot of sacrifice, and we know. We're glad, you know, it paid off. You know, that was just something, you know, I wanted to tell you guys.
Any other questions from the crowd here? If not, we will say congratulations and thank you for participating here. Florent Geroux, Brad Cox, Michael Dubbs, Saul Kuhlman, Stuart Grant, Michael Caruso, all the owners of the winner of the Kentucky Oaks Monomoy Girl, again before a crowd of 113,510. Thanks so much.
That was fun.
Hey.
That really was.
There's a zero missing on my check.
Well, I knew at the draw party the other day, you said, fuck yeah, no problem. So, you're right.